The Guardian released a report detailing CIA torture techniques and medical experiments they conducted on detainees. While the CIA had explicit guidelines on human experimentation, they just weren't followed. The ACLU published their findings today, which included conducting research on human subjects without their consent. It's reported that former CIA Director George Tenet approved the use of enhanced interrogation post 9/11 in the agency's sponsored programs. A doctor typically oversaw the brutal interrogation of these men. You know, I guess that makes it A-okay if a doctor is making sure that the CIA agents don't kill them. They just take them to the point where they either A, want to die, or B, as close to death as possible. With the revelation of this happening and the Guardian publishing it, and then the ACLU taking it up as well, do you think that the American public are going to pay closer attention to the fact that we're actually torturing people that aren't necessarily guilty of a crime?
I don't know for sure. I think this story lacks like maybe the sensationalistic nature that really will captivate America, because, and also it's been going on for a very long time, and unfortunately it didn't stop with Bush. It still has been going on under the Obama administration as well. I would hope that if more American eyes were brought to the findings of what the ACLU had to offer, then yes, changes could happen, but I mean, it won't take back years and years of these practices going on.
Mm-hmm. Well, as long as they stop, you know, that's something in and of itself. This 6,000-page report that the Senate Intelligence Committee got, detailing specific cases of torture that the CIA used against one man that they captured outside of Kabul, suspected of giving money to terrorism. Exactly. Mm-hmm. He was put in something called the salt pit. He was stripped naked, hung from a wooden beam. Ice water was thrown at his genitals. Another man later died of hypothermia. They were freezing him, so he actually did lose his life to their torture techniques. Another case that the ACLU, one attorney was speaking about, a man was fed rectally with his lunch. It was pureed and then rectally forced into him, which is a form of rape. Mm-hmm. These techniques are unquestionably awful. They're reminiscent of what Nazi Germany did to people in camps, and for us to be okay with them, regardless of the reason, you know, why? Why?
I think it also goes against, you know, our values as Americans. You know, we love to put forward this idea and notion of equality and doing things the right way. And whenever, even if you're prosecuting someone, they'll still be able to maintain certain liberties. And to know that liberties are being violated and just being dismissed for, you know, justice, I can't get with that. I can't agree with that. And I think it's really going to divide Americans as well, because I know there are certain Americans out there who deem these actions as plausible and needed in order to really protect our country.
Right. You know, I can't think of a single case, and I hear the argument that you're making that we torture these people to keep us safe. I can't think in my own personal rationale of how torturing an individual adds one element of safety to a country. You know, because if we can't kill the individual and we have to release them back to their home country, haven't we just bred another terrorist?
Well, some people view this action as being more of a deterrent, though. And so if you're torturing one person and they still don't give you the information, maybe the idea of being tortured will deter others from, you know, doing terrorist acts.
I know, Aaron, but how credible is information that's been coerced out of an individual, that's had ice water thrown on his genitals, that's been rectally raped? I mean, what kind of information would that be exactly? Wouldn't you just tell whomever's torturing you exactly what they wanted to hear?
Well, I mean, it's been alleged and also it's been alleged that these actions and these torture actions led to the capture of Osama bin Laden. So if the stakes are that high, of course, I mean, you know, do whatever is needed to capture somebody like that. That's why I hear a lot of people saying, like, if you're going to capture Osama bin Laden, the guy who was responsible for the 9/11 attacks, then why not?
Right.
So
the Telegraph did publish that article about linking the CIA torture program to the ultimate capture and killing of Osama bin Laden, and that just goes to show that President Obama kept Bush's terror program, their torture program, on the books long after, well into his administration, well after, you know, many years of this. It's been continuing
while preaching this notion of change,
right?
Which is very ironic and maybe
very ironic indeed. I would love to hear about how you feel on the subject of torturing possibly innocent people for the sake of freedom, what our CIA is doing, and continued revelations coming out of these documents that are before the Senate now. Please log on, post your comments below. While you're at it, subscribe to our channel, The Lip TV 2.